Okay, so a lot of people get to see you. You perform before games at Tottenham. You do a lot of work in the community. What advice would you give to any young freestyler out there, not just in Gambia or Africa, but anywhere in the world?
Well, I think the importance is always to stay professional when you're performing or when you're working around people. Never get disheartened or don't let your confidence drop if you do make a drop and the ball touches the floor when you're performing. I think the best performers pick up the ball straight away and carry on. Everybody makes mistakes. There's no one that's perfect. But if you let it hit your confidence, then you're gonna struggle being a good performer. You got to get straight back up and carry on, and keep practicing to break boundaries. That's the main thing, is not thinking something's too hard. It's only too hard if you want to make it too hard. But if you have the attitude that, you know what, you can learn that skill, break that boundary, you can do it. You know, it's only practice. That's all it's down to. I practice more than my friends. That's why I'm better than my friends.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, some freestyles are pick it up more naturally and quicker than others. But fundamentally, you want to learn freestyle. Practice more than anyone else, and you'll get there.
So you're talking about practice here. Practice make perfect. How many times or how often do you practice, and where do you practice?
Well, it varies, you know. When a few years ago I had a studio in a gym that they used to give me, and I used to do 1 or 2 performances during the year, and they'd give me the studio for free. But I found that was difficult because you get people walking past the studio, going into the gym, looking at you like this. So you end up doing the skills you know you can do to entertain them, because you don't want them to think you're rubbish. When you're practicing, you're just doing it again and again, making loads of mistakes. When I first started, it was in my bedroom, or over the park, in my back garden. Literally anywhere I can find to practice, I will practice. Me and Jeremy at the moment, we currently use a school. A school gives us their facility, and we go there, and it's got a school dance studio with mirrors around, so we're lucky to have that. But you know what, you can practice anywhere. You've got a football, you've got a safe area, okay, you can practice. That's all you need.
You mentioned Jeremy Lynch. Mentioned him a couple of times. He's you're kind of like your dance partner.
Yeah, yeah.
Really, right? Like Strictly Come Dancing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Jeremy was from Britain's Got Talent. He was on there. He got to the semi-finals.
Yeah.
Is that where you see the future of freestyle football, along with your choreography and your skills? Is that where you see the freestyling going?
As a partnership, you mean?
Partnership, yeah.
Definitely. I think that football freestyle's been around for a good 10 years now, and the longer it goes on, the harder it gets to entertain people, because they've seen football freestyle, they've seen someone catch the ball in their neck. When I first started, I could just do 5 or 6 skills and people would say, oh, that's amazing, because they had never seen it before.
Yeah.
But now you have to do something really special for them to be entertained. So I think that forming a team with Jeremy as a double act, synchronising skills at the same time, you can do a lot of stuff together that hasn't been done before, that is more entertaining. And I definitely think from a football freestyle point of view, double act is more entertaining, and that's the way we're going to head towards. So I think it'll open up a whole new avenue and refresh football freestyle as well.
Okay, fantastic. You said you used to play before. Have you played or coached any Premiership players, whether it means, you know, through freestyle? Obviously you're at Tottenham Hotspur. Do you get to work with the Premiership players?
Yeah, I mean, when I was first at Spurs, I used to do coaching sessions with the first team. Not regularly, but like when we was out in Korea for the Peace Cup, I'll come and teach the boys some skills, and some of them would be really keen to like learn some skills, and the ones that thought they couldn't pick it up or didn't want to would just be like, oh, no, I'm going over there. So it's really funny. But yeah, I've been working, when I worked with Ronaldo, say Ronaldinho, they ask me how to do skills, I show them, and then they try the skills themselves. So it's never been like planned sessions, it's always off the cuff. But yeah, they're keen to learn freestyle skills, and I've worked with a fair few players. Torres as well is another one.
Right. So who would you say at Tottenham is the most skillful player?
I'd say Robbie Keane used to be the most skillful player that I come across. There isn't many players in Spurs that do the skills. I know when Freddie Canute was at Spurs, he was really keen about skills. He'd watch me every time I was doing skills. Everyone else would be looking elsewhere. His eyes would be on me, and he was really keen into the skills, Freddie Canute. But I'd say Robbie Keane was probably the best. I haven't seen him in a while, mate, mind you. But at the time he was the best.
I know, just seeing my experience with African coaches and African players and what have you, I know they do have focus on skills.
Yeah.
I remember seeing a YouTube video with you on it. You guys would have been Tottenham would have been playing Chelsea.
Yeah.
And there was Michael Essien that was.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you saw it was nuts because he was obviously not concentrating on his stuff.
Yeah.
And he was looking at you and his eyes were just like popping out of his head.
Yeah, I think that's incredible that you have the power or the skill to stop a world class football player from warming up just because he wants to see what you're doing. And I remember after the game, he actually shook my hand, come up to me and shook my hand in the tunnel there. And I think that's incredible, you know. I do remember that because I watched that video myself, and the ball come to him and it went underneath his foot because he weren't looking, he was looking at me. And no, that's brilliant, you know. And when I'm performing, I know who's watching me and who isn't watching me. And when I performed here at White Lane, Brazil v Wales, it was a friendly, and we had the Brazilian team, and they started watching me as I was performing. And it just makes you want to perform even more. The adrenaline starts pumping. You think, oh, Michael Essien or Robinho's watching you. I better up my game now. And you want to really perform for them as well. Yeah. So it does make you up your game, and it is like really, I suppose it's really rewarding knowing that they're interested in the skills.
I think one of the main reasons why I've had to track you down. I told you before. I won't say it on camera. Why I want to get you over to Gambia because the kids over there are going to absolutely love the ball manipulation and the tricks and what have you. So I'm really looking forward to seeing you do that. I know as a youth coach myself that kids warm to skills, and it's very easy to get them to do certain things, even as part of coaching. So there will be a couple of things that you'll be doing out there. Obviously, I've said that we've got a cameraman that's going to be following you and stuff like that. So we'll make sure you've got that footage. So yeah, the guys out there are really looking forward to you. All the Gambians are looking forward to you coming out there. I've got to say. I've got one last question for you. One last one. Who's the greatest football player of all time?
That's a hard question. It's down to opinions.
All right, let me split it. I'll split it in two. Who do you think's the best European player of all time?
Well, the problem is, for me, my best player probably wouldn't be anyone else's best player. My best player, who I think is a genius on the ball, is Paul Gascoigne. Right, now, I know I'd say it to people, my best player is Paul Gascoigne, and they'll say, what are you on about? You got Pele, you got this player, you got that player. But for me, watching Paul Gascoigne as a young player, he inspired me. I wanted to be Paul Gascoigne. I wanted to do skills like him. I wanted to be able to dribble like him, have the charisma on the pitch, the flair, and that's just my opinion. I know that if you actually really think about it, he probably wasn't the best player in the world, but for me, he was my best player, definitely. I mean, it's hard to put it into perspective really, because back then it's obviously a lot easier than nowadays when Messi's doing it on the pitch week in, week out, and you think, look at the standard, how it's improved from them, how it's got more physical, more faster, more technical, and Messi can still do the same things as Gaza could do, but he could do it nowadays, so it's really hard, but Paul Gascoigne was my best player.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I want to say,
Alright, fantastic. Well, thank you very much for inviting us to Tottenham and for the interview. Really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
I really look forward to it. It's going to be fantastic. I think that the whole trip is. I'm not looking forward to one thing. It's going to be fantastic. So quick 2 weeks and then we're away.
Okay. All right, brilliant.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks again, mate.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks.